Hello, Tracy here from The Passionate Spinner. This is a tutorial on how I knit my heel. So I have just published a pattern called the 401, and the last page of this pattern, it's a free pattern, is this spreadsheet here, and this is what we're going to need now. So I'm knitting a pair of shorty socks right now, and I'm knitting a size 40. So I have 64 stitches on my needles. When you look at your spreadsheet, mine is a bit crumpled because I've been, hauling it around in my knitting bag with me. I'm going to go here. Number of heel stitches. The centimeter from cast on to heel is not important because I'm doing shorties, but number of heel stitches is going to be 32, which is half of your stitches. And I have now knit my round. I'm going to start the heel now. And in the pattern, I tell you to knit only the first 3 needles. So when you knit your socks on DPNs, you have 4 needles. Here's my end tail. So this here is needle 1, right? I hold it like this. Here was my cast on. And then I have needle 1, 2, 3, 4. I've knit needles 1, 2, and 3. And now it's time to knit needle 4, which is also where I will start my heel. Now, let's get rid of this so it doesn't distract. And what do you do in the setup row? You're setting up your heel right now so that the end tail later is right in the middle of your heel. So you will knit the first stitch through the back loop and then purl 2. That will give a nice edge. And now you can knit. You can already start your pattern of slipped stitches, or you can just knit all of them. I'm going to do slipped stitches. So it's knit 1, slip 1 as if to knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1. And I'm doing that until all of the stitches of needle 4 have been worked. Knit, slip, knit. I'm going to get rid of that needle. No, don't need it anymore because I knit the heel over 2 needles. So I will continue knitting needle 1 stitches. So I stop with knit. So the first one is a slip, knit, slip, knit. And you will do that until you have 3 stitches left. And you will end with a slip stitch. Now the last 3 stitches are purl 2. And the last stitch is a slip as if to purl with the yarn in front. And now it's time to turn around. And when you look at it, you can already see that this is the heel, this is the top of the foot later. Okay, now wrong side rows for the heel flap is knit 1 through the back loop, which is easy because the yarn is in the back already. And then it is knit 2, purl all except the last 3 stitches, because you are now purling all the stitches. The slipped stitches from the right side are getting knit up as well, and that will create a bit of a sturdier heel. Almost there. I have 3 left. Now it's knit 2 and again slip 1 as if to purl with yarn in front. Turn around. And now we do a knit through the back loop, purl 2, knit 1, slip 1 as if to knit, knit 1, slip 1 as if to knit, knit, slip, knit, slip, and do that again until we have 3 stitches left. Now I have 3 left, and it is purl 2, slip 1 as if to purl with the yarn in front, and turn. Now I'm not going to knit the whole heel flap on camera. I'm just gonna do another start of the row at least. So first off is knit through the back loop, knit 2, and then purl all except the last 3. I'm going to do this row, and then I'm going to finish the heel flap off camera. You will find that the stitches that you only slipped on the right side row are very close to the stitches that you knit. When you look at this, there's always a set of 2. So be careful not to accidentally knit 2 together or purl 2 together on the wrong side, because they're very close together. Now I have my 3 stitches left, and it is knit 2, slip 1 as if to purl with yarn in front. I am now going to continue knitting my heel flap, and can already tell the way it looks with the slipped stitches. So this is what we're going for. 2 purl stitches at the front and the nice chain edge stitch. Not sure if you can actually see it yet, but when you look at your pattern, again, we are doing this size, so we have 32 heel stitches, and we also need 32 rows for the heel. We have 4 now. The easiest way to count these rows is by looking at the chain. I have 2 chains at the moment because every 2 rows makes 1 chain. So when you count up your chain in the end, you have 16 of those little chain stitches here. You're good to go with the next step of your heel. So I am going to finish my heel flap, and then we will do the heel turn. Now I have finished knitting the heel flap. It looks like this now. It should look like this for you as well. And when you look at the edge, you can now clearly see that chain, and you can easily count those chain stitches. When you have 16 of them for this size, we can go and do the heel turn. What you will also have noticed is that I have my spare needle stuck in here. I always do that because that way I cannot lose it. So here's my working needle, and I have brought a bit of leftover yarn. I'm going to insert some little bits of it now. So I'm going to cut 2 small pieces. I do not usually do this because I've knit many pairs of socks, but to make life easier, if you're knitting your first sock, I recommend doing this. Now, let's look at the pattern again. The next row is the heel turn stitch division. Now, we are here, size 40, and it says 10, 12, 10. What that means is you have 10 stitches on the outside, and then 12 stitches on the inside. Those 12 stitches on the inside will be the actual turn, and the 10 stitches on the outside will be decreased. So with those little pieces of contrasting waste yarn, you can count out your 10 stitches and insert one of these here between your stitches. I probably should have used a thinner yarn for this, and one that shows up easier, but you know, why think through? Why think things through? Okay, now it needs to go in here. Like I said, I usually do not do this because there's no need. But to make life easier for you and to make things easier and better visually. So now I have it in. Here's my first bit of string. And the other bit, I'm going to attach 10 from the other end. Probably easier to do it with a crochet hook, but okay, now they are in. We are now going to knit the heel turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first set of stitches. In my pattern, I tell you to knit the first set plus the second set minus 1. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you. So we're going to start out as we did the heel flap by knitting 1 through the back loop, purl 2, and then knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit. Ignore that little thread, slip, knit, until 1 stitch before the second piece of string. Yeah, here we are. We have 1 stitch left, and then the third set of stitches. So again, the pattern tells you to knit set 1, the middle set minus 1. And now is where we do the heel turn. So you will now knit the next stitch, the last of the middle set, and the first of the side stitches together through the back loop. So just pick them together and knit them together through the back loop. You can leave that string in here, it doesn't matter. And then turn around. Slip the first one as if to purl with the yarn in front. Purl until you have 1 stitch left before your string, or, you know, use the middle number minus 1, or in this case minus 2, because you have already slipped the first stitch. Now, here we are. Should be 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. Middle set of numbers, minus 1, and then purl 2 together. The last of the middle stitches, the first of the side stitches. Purl together and turn around. And what you will see now, I'm going to take out that little piece of string now on both sides. It's very convenient because for me it also happens to be a different color, but you can see a hole. You can clearly see a gap here. You will knit now until you reach 1 stitch before the gap. First stitch will be slipped, and then knit, slip to keep the pattern. And I have now reached my gap, 1 stitch before and 1 after. You will knit together through the back loop and then turn. You can also now see a gap here between your stitches. So the first one will be slipped as if to purl, and then purl all the way to your gap. So you have 1 stitch before, left. Okay, now I have 1 stitch before my gap, and then the gap and the remaining stitches. Once again, the one before, the one after, purl together and turn. Slip the first one, and then knit, slip until 1 stitch before your gap. Here's my gap, and knit 2 together through the back loop, turn. I'm going to do that now until I have absolutely no stitches left on the sides. Once you have finished your heel turn, you will have no side stitches left, but only the middle set of number stitches. What? You will only have 12 stitches left for this size. Whatever the middle number is in the pattern, you will have those stitches left. Let's go like this. And you see, you have knit a heel. It is finished. All that's left to do now is pick up stitches so you can knit the gusset and continue on with your foot. So let's do that. First off, we need to separate these into 2 sets. I'm going to slip the first stitch as I did with every other time when I had the purl 2 together last. And then I'm going to knit all, not all, no, 6 of them. I have 6 stitches on this needle, push the needle to the middle and ignore. Then to pick up your spare needle, make sure to pull on the right one, and then knit 6. And now it's time to pick up stitches. And this is where this chain that we created comes in handy. Now, looking at the pattern again, next here is number of stitches picked up from the heel flap on both sides. I'm here, I need 18. So I need to pick up 18 stitches. The easy thing is I have 16 chain stitches. So that's 16. I have one weird looking stitch thing up here. So this will be number 1. And then I will pick up one here at the bottom. Okay, now here I'm going to pick up the first one through this. That's not really a chain stitch. And now I'm going to pick up the chains. And what I do for that is I pick up both legs of that chain stitch. Pull your yarn through. 1, okay? And that's just for every single chain. Pick those up. If you are knitting for someone who has a very high instep, you can make your heel flap longer. Just add 2 or 4 or even 6 rows, because that way you will have to pick up more stitches and your gusset will automatically be longer and therefore also higher because you have more stitches. Now, almost at the bottom here. Now I'm done with the chains and it still looks like this. So I'm going to pick up actually this whole stitch here. And that way I will not have a hole later. Push the needle through. Now it looks like this. And it looks like this on the inside. You can see that nice chain here. Knit the next 2 needles, needles number 2 and 3. Yeah. Knitting the 3rd needle feels a bit weird because you have this still flopping around. But that is just normal, you know? It's only 1 round where it is that way. Now, push the needle to the middle, pick up your spare needle, and now we will pick up stitches first. So what I always do is when I reach this point, I push this needle in a bit because that way it's not in the way as much. Now, grab your knitting. The first stitch I will pick up on this side is actually the stitch that is here. It's again the whole stitch that I'm just picking up like this to close the gap. And then I'm working with my chain again. So I just pick up the whole chain stitch until I reach the top. In the pattern, it says pick up 18 per side. If you pick up 19 or 17, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you do not have any gaps and that you close it up nicely. So here at the top, I also have not a chain stitch, but this weird little thing here. I will pick that up as my last pickup stitch and then knit the 6 stitches that are already on my needle that has been waiting for me. And that is it. This is how you knit a heel. It is now fully done, ready to go for the gusset. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you knit a lot of socks. I will link the pattern in the description box because it's a free pattern and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.